Hi there, and welcome to this session on navigating uncertainty. So, in today's world, change is inevitable, and often it can feel overwhelming. So, whether you're facing a career shift, personal challenges, or the unpredictability of global events, knowing how to navigate uncertainty is essential. During this session, we're going to dive into why uncertainty feels unsettling, how it impacts our emotions, and more importantly, how you can shift your mindset and build resilience to thrive through transition. I put together a slide deck which we're going to work our way through. That'll guide us through key concepts and strategies, and the slides will also give you some practical tools, reflection exercises, and even a final project to help you apply what you've learned. So that let's get started and turn uncertainty into an opportunity for growth. Hi, and welcome to this session on navigating uncertainty and embracing change. So, in a world that's constantly evolving, and dealing with uncertainty can be one of the biggest challenges all of us face, whether it's a career transition, a personal life change, or global events. Whatever it is, it can impact us, and learning how to handle uncertainty is a crucial skill. So, in today's session, what we're going to cover is why uncertainty feels so unsettling, how our brains and emotions respond to change, strategies you can learn to shift your mindset and build resilience, and then practical tips to thrive through transition. So by the end of this session, you'll have some tools and techniques that hopefully you can use to help you feel more empowered, even when things are unpredictable. So change is inevitable. We have to accept that, and we have to learn ways to accept that, and hopefully by the end of this course you'll find ways to kind of cope with it. But our natural response, our human response, is often resistance or fear. So to start with, let's talk about why uncertainty feels so uncomfortable. Now, the human brain craves predictability. So when faced with uncertainty, it triggers our fight, flight, or freeze response. And this is a survival mechanism designed to protect us from danger. So even though modern uncertainties don't necessarily prove to be life-threatening, they can still kind of trigger our brain to react in a certain way. And the brain reacts as if they are. And this can lead to anxiety, stress, and even decision paralysis. So think about a time when you were waiting for important news. Perhaps it was a job interview result or an exam grade, and the waiting period may have felt overwhelming because your brain was trying to fill in those gaps, that uncertainty, with predictions, and often it leans towards the worst case scenario. So have you ever noticed how you react when you don't know what's coming next? Do you feel uneasy and try to gain control by over-planning? Think about a recent experience where you faced an unknown outcome, and how did you feel during that time? So our emotional response to uncertainty can be as varied as the situations we face, but there are some common patterns. So understanding these emotional stages can help us navigate them more effectively. It's kind of that ownership bit. So much like the stages of, say, for example, grief, we can often go through different emotional phases when faced with uncertainty, and these can include things like denial, this isn't happening, things will stay the same, or anger, and why is this happening to me, bargaining, if I do X or Y, then things may go back to the way that they were, even something as extreme as depression, and I don't know how to handle this, or acceptance, this is happening and I'll be okay. So recognizing these stages, or which stage you're in, I should say, it can give you the clarity to manage your emotions, and it's normal to move between these phases or stages at different times. So don't feel discouraged if you find yourself going back and forth between them. But understanding which phase you're in gives you that ownership and the ability potentially to move through it. So having the ability to actually recognize and reflect on which emotional stage you're in, depending on your current kind of position, can actually help you manage your way through it. As an example, if for example you move cities, so if you move from town to town, you may feel that you move through these emotions as you do that, because it may be a forced move. It could be something that, around moving with your job, and you may feel like, I'm in denial, I'm going to procrastinate around things like packing and actually doing the practical stuff towards moving, but owning that and understanding that that's the way you feel and that's a valid feeling, then can help you move through that change too. So one big thing you can do as an individual is actually understand your mindset and learn how to shift it. One of the most powerful tools in navigating uncertainty is changing how you perceive a situation. So our mindset determines how we experience change. When faced with uncertainty, many of us default to a fixed mindset, the belief that we can't change or influence outcomes and it's going to happen to us, rather than being in charge of it and being able to do something about it. A growth mindset, on the other hand, helps us see challenges as opportunities for learning, personal development, growth, new things, new horizons. It can be an exciting thing, but you have to learn how to shift that mindset. So an example, it could be that if you lose your job, a fixed mindset might tell you that you'll never find anything as good as that again, whereas a growth mindset might help you see it as an opportunity. It's tough. I'm not saying it's easy, but it's a chance to explore new career options that you hadn't considered before. So here's a chance for you to do something practical. If you want, you can hit pause while you consider this. But what I would like you to do is think about a current uncertainty in your life. Write it down, and write down also how you're currently viewing it, how you currently feel about it, and what are the negative thoughts you have about this situation. Then try and reflip it. So reframe it, flip it, think of it differently, put them into a more positive or opportunistic frame of mind. What opportunities could arise from this uncertainty? What might you gain or learn from this change? What might you benefit from it? So in the previous slides, we looked at how you might be able to reframe a situation and put a positive spin on it, and see it as an opportunity for growth and development. But also let's have a look at how you could potentially use your resilience or build your resilience to be able to cope with something that is outside your control, but learn about what is within your grasp, your control. And resilience is the ability to bounce back from adversity, and it's essential when navigating uncertainty. Building resilience doesn't mean avoiding challenges, but rather developing the strength to handle them. Resilient people don't shy away from change. As I've said, change is inevitable, it is going to happen. But instead, people with good resilience learn to embrace it with flexibility and the adaptable attitude that you need to get through to the other side. So 3 practical tips that you can use for building resilience are to focus on what you can control. When things feel unpredictable, concentrate on the aspects of your life where you still have agency, your daily routine, your mindset, and your response to events. Don't focus on what's outside your remit, what's outside your purview, what's outside your control, because that way you can feel lost. Practice self-compassion and be kind to yourself during times of change. Acknowledge your feelings are valid, but don't judge them, and it's okay to feel uncertain or stressed. And then celebrate small wins. Every step forward, no matter how small, is progress. Celebrate each achievement, even if it's just adjusting to a new routine. So an example of this could be during a major career transition, a person might set small goals like updating their CV or networking, rather than getting overwhelmed by the larger picture. Over time, these small efforts help build momentum and create a sense of accomplishment. And what I'd like you to do here is focus on 2 or 3 aspects of your situation where you have control, i.e., what is your routine? Are you happy with it? How do you respond to things? And then concentrate on those areas to reduce that feeling of overwhelm. So another thing to consider here is about how you cope with transition. So we've looked at things like reframing, we've looked at how you might build resilience. This is about how you stay curious and open to new possibilities so that you thrive through that transition period. So it's not just about surviving uncertainty, but it's about thriving through it too. So thriving in times of uncertainty requires you to embrace flexibility. When we let go of a rigid expectation and open ourselves up to new possibilities, we can create room for unexpected growth and opportunities. So stay curious and open to learning. Every change, even when difficult, teaches us something. Reflect on what the transition is showing you about yourself, your values and your capabilities. Look at the positives. What have you learned? What strengths do you already have? How are your values helping you get through this? So an example might be that a major life change, such as relocating or a relationship shift, for example, might reveal hidden strengths you didn't realize you had, like adaptability, independence and creativity. A great way of finding these out as well, if you still aren't sure that what your strengths or values are, is to ask other people, ask the people who know you best. They will be able to kind of help you point in the right direction so that you understand just how good you are at some of these things, even if you're a bit blind to them at the point. So going back to the earlier piece where we asked you to think about maybe a current item you're facing that could be around uncertainty or change or transition, what opportunities could arise from that uncertainty that you're currently facing? What positives could there be? What learning could there be around it? And I'd like you to kind of spend a moment thinking about what you might gain from this change. Okay, so now for your project. What I'd like you to do is start to build a personal resilience plan. And it can be any format you like. I mean, you can probably download one off the internet if you want. I will design something and add it as an attachment to this course so that you can download it from here. But print it out and start filling it in, or design your own. But what I need you to do is identify a change or uncertainty you're facing or are about to face. Write down your current mindset around it. So how are you currently feeling? What opportunities do you think there might be? Reframe the challenge into an opportunity. So reframing, as we said before, think of it in a positive way. What could you learn? And then list 3 resilience strategies that you could apply to it. What I would like you to do then, and this is in the spirit of moving forwards, is identify one small step you can take today that is going to help you move towards your goal, is going to help you move through this change, through this transition, and come out the other side a better, stronger individual. Okay, so that's it. That's the end of the course. You've seen your project. You've worked your way through. As I said, if you want to replay this and pause it at certain times and have a look at some of the tasks that I've given you as well, you should be able to continue with those. But in conclusion, navigating uncertainty is a skill that we can develop through understanding our emotions, shifting our mindset, building resilience, and embracing flexibility. That last part, I think, is key. Uncertainty doesn't have to be feared. With the right strategies, you can approach change with confidence, knowing that you have the tools to thrive, not just survive. Good luck.